here's what we're making today. The all-leather Sorella, a pattern by Simply Classic. You guys, this is so cute. This is leather. The brown is leather. You've got a full zipper pocket that is this whole back piece. It closes securely with a twist lock. On the inside, you have 2 card slots, keys, whatever you want to put in there, little key. Personally, I just carry 1 key because we don't use keys hardly ever anymore. And then you have tons of room in there. And then it closes securely with the twist lock. It has an adjustable crossbody strap, which you could actually wear as a waist pack if you chose to. Isn't she cute? She's so cute. The Sorella by Simply Classic. This one will be for sale on my website. But let's get started and make it. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. I'm getting ready to do a leather Sorella. This is a pattern that I've had for a long time from Simply Classic. It is a waist bag, or you can wear it as a crossbody. I'm going to make it as a crossbody because that's how most people wear bags. Very few people wear waist bags. At least that's what I think. But I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, let me know. The Sorella by Simply Classic. Let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, I'll go over each piece as I use it. But I'm going to make one of my standard fancy straps is what I'm calling them. But I do have a new die that I got from my guy on Etsy named Ken. I think the name of his company is Leather Vines. I'm not sure. I'll link it in the description. But the previous one I had only had 3/4 inch hardware. This one has a center section for 1 inch hardware in case you want something a little more substantial. So, and then I have my, I'm using 1.5 inch webbing and, let me pull you down, and, antique brass hardware. So I am just going to sew this together so it doesn't move around on me when I'm sewing. So here is my 1 inch strap, and I did put a piece of Decabelle down the center just to give it a little added strength. The Sorella is not a big bag, but you still want to stabilize these straps. And I am using leather, but I still think it's a good idea. Alright, so we're going to add that. Our swivel clasp is in there, and we're going to add this nice and even. And then fold it over nice and even, and then top stitch. Perfect. Doesn't look straight. There it goes. Okay. Perfect. Sometimes when you use contrasting thread on these, if they don't look perfect, they're not going to look good. And I was going to use contrasting, but I don't like how it turned out. So I changed my mind. Okay, so there is the one piece. And let's get our slide adjuster. One of these. Up and through. Oops, I needed a piece of leather. Let me go grab a piece of leather. Hold on. All right, so I just have a 1.5 by 1.5 inch piece of leather that we're going to use to cover the raw edge of our wedding. Just like that. And I have some leather marking on there. I'm just going to get off. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to fold that over and top stitch that on. Just like this. And I'll do a little box. I know I'm living dangerously. Perfect. You could add rivets there, but I don't think it needs it, really. Let's clean up those threads on both sides. Okay, so that's what you have. Now, let's put this up and through our piece that we just created. And then we're going to add this side down here. Oops, I need my slider. I have to put that on. Don't forget your slider. You will really be disappointed. Just saying. It's backwards. There we go. Okay. Oh, we gotta go down and through. Otherwise, you don't have a slider. So there you go, just like that. Yeah. Let me check something. Okay. Now we're going to add this to the other end and repeat what we did. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Let's clean up our threads. Okay. So now you have a adjustable crossbody strap. Very, very nice. Just like that. Okay. You could actually wear it as a waist pack too. All right, next step. All right, so the next step is to do the upper closure and the lower closure and the flap. So I already did the upper closure and the lower closure, and all you need to do is trace it and then do double-sided. So there's a piece of tape in between there. So I did that, and we're going to stitch it, and then we'll trim it. So I did the same thing with the lower closure. Okay, oops. Now, we'll do the same thing with the flap, which is my only yellow piece of leather. So I have 3 pieces of double-sided tape. And we're going to put those wrong sides together. And then I'll take my pattern piece and trace around that. And the same thing with this one. We'll top stitch it and then cut it out. Perfect. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to start over on the straight edge because that is actually going to be hidden. Oh, okay. So we can backstitch here. 1/8 of an inch inside our line. And there's a little bit of a curve here, so you want to go slow. One more tiny stitch. Perfect. There's a curve down here, what I was just saying. I've wanted to use this yellow. I got this yellow leather from Simply Classic. It's stunning. And I never have been a yellow person per se. Okay, go slow around your curve. It's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to do the other, I'm going to do the other 2 pieces before I cut that one. And same thing here. I'm going to start up here. Eighth of an inch on the inside of the drawn line. Oh, you know what? I need to... put my twist lock in there first. What was I thinking? So let me do that first. Let me finish. I can do this one though. Good thing I caught that, huh? Yeah. This one we're going to cut the hole, so that's okay. Okay. Perfect. All right, I'm going to get my leather markings off. And I am going to just use a little bit of oil. I think the wetness of that is going to be too much. I hope this is okay. Let's see. Yeah, this will be fine. Most of it's going to be cut off. All right, so let's put our twist lock in. Let me find it. Here it is in my washer. So it's going to go right there. And we just need to mark. Okay. You're only going through one layer, so don't go through both. That's where I made my... I thought I was going to go through both, and you do not. Okay. So here's my twist lock. I'm going to go through there. And then I am going to put a little piece of Decaville Heavy in there. Let me just mark for that. Whoop. And we'll add that, and then our washer. So just like that. Fold that in. Very strong. And I'm just gonna perfect. Then to cover that, I'm gonna just put a little piece of tape. Just so those prongs don't go through my other piece of my leather. Okay, now we can finish. It's okay, sometimes you have to adjust. All right, here we go. And you have plenty of room to go around this, so don't worry about that. Chris does such a nice job with her patterns, you guys. You really need to try them. She does a really good job. She thinks of all the little idiosyncrasies that might happen, like putting that on. You know, you need to have room. I need to go just a hair more. There we go. Because you have to put it on now, but you want to have plenty of room to go around it, is what I was trying to say. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's get that off. You do have to be careful with some leathers. Like I'm trying to be a little more careful with this piece. If it gets wet, some leathers don't like it. This will be fine. But you don't want to go all over it like I did on that other piece. It's going to dry fine though. Okay. And then same with this one. We want to get that off of there. The sooner you do it, the better. This is going to be our cut line, and I'll still be able to see it, but in case I don't get it all off, I wanted to cut it. All right, I'm going to get some really sharp scissors. I'm going to use these. And then do your curves. Just go slow. Don't take your scissors out or you'll get choppy cuts. And use the sharpest scissors you have. Perfect. All right, let's put these back up here. That looks so good. This is going to be hidden. All right, let's do the same thing here. Oops, I put my scissors away. These are sharp too, so I'll just use these. Okay, there's that one. And let's do this one. Perfect. Okay. So there are our 3 pieces. Wow, those really turned out good. Next step. All right, so the next step is to do our card slots. And I'm taking my piece of leather, which I'm going to do it in the yellow, and the self-adhesive lining. The self-adhesive lining. Yeah. And And we're going to center that on the back here, all the way across the bottom. So it's centered from side to side, but it's across the bottom. Then we're going to put some tape here. And we're going to fold this down. And then we'll top stitch. None of this leather was skived. I'm not sure I mentioned that. I didn't know. I'm not skiving any of it. The croc is fairly thin. And this yellow leather is fairly thin too. Not required. It's a little thicker lamb, but it's perfect actually. Okay, there we go. So let's set that aside. And then we're going to take our 2 lining pieces, our gusset pieces, and we're going to add those. And your lining is shorter than your outside piece, and that's on purpose. Okay, so put those together. And I gotta even this up. That's funny. I have a little curve in my gusset here. Not sure why. And let's bring that up. So your lining is smaller than your gusset out exterior. Then we're going to sew that together at the seam allowance in the pattern. Let me see what that seam allowance is. Okay. I haven't taken the self-adhesive paper backing off yet. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, now we'll take the self-adhesive lining off, paper off the self-adhesive lining. And you know, sometimes it can be hard to get the paper off in one piece. Don't really fret about that. Just get most of it off. And if you can't get it off, don't fret it. Just don't fret it. That's what I say. Most of it should come off though. Then we're going to flip this right side out. One little more, and then that's perfect. That's just perfect. Okay, now let's turn it right side out. And then you should have a little bit of your exterior showing on both ends. So just like that. Perfect, just a little bit. Then we're going to top stitch each end. and baste the rest of it in place. I'm using self-adhesive, so maybe didn't have to do that, but I think it's a good idea. Okay. Perfect. All right, so there's our gusset. Now, on your gusset, fold each short end right sides together. Let me pull you down so you can see what I'm doing. The short end, right sides together, and just clip that on both short ends. We're going to add a little dart. And she tells you how far to come down. But you can do you. So you don't have to come down as far as she tells you. I'm going to come down 1 3/4. Then we're going to stop. We're going to start at the top and ease that stitch off, just like any dart would be. At our mark. Okay, so that's what you should have. This is what it looks like when you open it up. It's a nice little dart. Cute. Let's do this side. I gotta transfer my mark over here. Okay. Perfect. All right. 2 little darts. Perfect. So that's what your ends of your gusset should look like. 2 little darts. Okay, next step. All right, so you should have 2 pieces, 2 back pieces, one without a zipper hole and then one with a zipper hole. We're going to take our zipper pocket lining and we're going to add it to both pieces. And it will come up once you add this, but you want to be as precise as possible. Let me just say from experience. The first time when you put it down. Perfect. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure I could have done that any better. Now, I have a little hangover over here, so I'm just going to trim that. I mean, it's minimal. Probably don't even need to do it, but I did. There we go. And here there's just a tiny bit as well of my self-adhesive lining. Okay. All right. Very nice. Same thing with this piece, except we're going to have to cut our hole out once we get it on there. Okay. If I can get the paper off. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Perfect. Okay, same thing. If there's any bit of hangover, just trim off the lining. And if there is, which there is, it's not a big deal. It's minuscule. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife and a ruler, and we're going to cut out the adhesive lining behind our zipper. Okay. Let's do the other long edge. Take your time with this. You don't want to cut your leather. And if you need to, use scissors, then do it. Okay, almost there. It's very sticky, which is a good thing. Okay, there's a little bit hanging out down here that I don't want. There we go. Okay. So that's what it looks on that side. There's a little, there we go. Okay, love it. Perfect. Next step. All right, so put some tape on your zipper. Add your zipper pull. There we go. And then we're going to put that zipper closing to the left in our zipper opening. And I'll show you in a second. I'm using one of my rope zipper pulls. I love these. I know I made my zipper way too long. It's okay. So let me cut some of that off. All right, next step. Okay, so take your, we haven't stitched around our zipper yet. Take your credit card slot, find the center, and then find the center of your bottom. And then we are going to add just a tiny bit of tape. I wouldn't do the whole sides, but it's up to you. I'm just doing about 1.5 inches on each side and the bottom. Just enough to keep it there while I stitch it. Okay, take the paper off. And then center it up from the bottom. That doesn't really look centered. Yeah. Okay. That's better. Okay. Then we're going to stitch 2 lines in from each short edge here. And I'm doing this very lightly with my marking tool. Okay, so we're going to stitch down and over, up, over, down, and back and up. Okay. And I'm back stitching here. And you don't have to use these for cards, credit cards. You can use them for IDs, whatever you choose. And I'm just going to go over 1 and back down. And then back around the side, the bottom and the side. Perfect. Okay. And then we are going to stitch around the zipper. Yeah. And I think I'll pull that one to the back. I don't have to, but I'm going to. I can't even see it, so hold on. Here it is. And stop where you started. Pull that thread to the back and tie them off. And like I always do, I try and even my threads. It just makes tying them off so much easier. Okay. Perfect. Now I am going to cut off more zipper tape here. Don't need any of that. But I cut zipper tape, so I'm going to burn the ends. And there's a little extra over here. Okay. Perfect. All right, next step. All right, so take your upper flap, put some double-sided tape on the back, just the upper half of the back. Find the center of your flap and measure down what she tells you to in the pattern and lay it right there. Now, before I get crazy, I'm just going to make sure, 1, 2, 3, that it's nice and even. Oh my gosh, it is. It's a miracle. Okay, and now we are going to sew around that. All the way around. And I am just going to get this. Sew a box all the way around. I'm trying to follow my previous stitching for the most part. Okay. Pretty good. So there is the flap. I'm going to put you down here. So there's the flap. That looks actually pretty good. All right, so take your pattern piece and mark where the flap goes. She gives you two options. Either use the pattern piece or you can measure down from the bottom of the zipper. Take your flap and on the right side, add some double-sided tape to the straight edge. And we are going to center that on that line. Then we're going to do 2 rows of stitching there. First row is I'm going to follow my previous stitching. As best I can. Okay. Then I'll do another row about 1/8 from that. Okay. Let's clean up our stitches. And let's wipe off our markings. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so cute. All right, so on the other back piece, mark your center and measure up what she tells you to in the pattern. Then we're going to attach this piece very similar to the same way we did the other one. We're just going to put a little piece of tape there. I got stuff everywhere. Hold on. And this goes right side up, centered. So just center it. And then we're going to stitch around that. Love it. But we're going to come up. We're not going to stitch all the way around. Let me find my marking. We're only going to do to here. So mark up from there and only stitch a box right there. This is so cute. This might be my new... I know, it's shocking. Let's clean up those threads. Okay. All right. I love it. Next step. All right, so on the back piece, the one without the zipper, put double-sided tape down this top piece. Just like this. Take the paper off, and we're going to put those two backs together. And you just want to get them as even as possible. And I'm going to stand up here. Let me get my zipper pull out of the way. Paying attention to these corners here. Okay. Love it. Then, with this down out of the way, we're going to clip that all the way around. And we might have to do some trimming, and that's okay. Just tweak it just a little. Okay. So we're going to stitch these two together at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So I'm going to start down here and go up and around and across here. Yep. Make sure this piece is out of the way. We don't want to stitch that down. I might just do it this way. And you're going to pivot at this corner. And make sure your flap is out of the way. All the way around. Get to that corner and sure your flap's out of the way. And pivot. Your flap really shouldn't be in the way there, but it's close. All right. Now, there's something that happened over here, so I'm just going to fix that. I don't like how it looks. Oh, I see what happened. I didn't get my flap out of the way. Okay, let's fix it, Rob. Yeah, that's what happened. I knew it was catching on something, but I wasn't sure what it was. Okay, that's better. Okay. All right, next step. All right, so that's what we have. So I just did a little trimming and a little cleanup. I had some, like right here, I've got a little stitch that wants to poke out. So I'm just going to clip that off. Okay. Now take your front piece and we're going to put these two pieces right sides together and just clip across the top. And sew those together at the seam allowance in the pattern. Paper's still on my lining. Okay. Now, because this is the front piece, I'm going to put a tag right here. I'm trying to decide what color I want to do. Yellow. Oh, I have one of these. I'll just do that. Oh my gosh, that looks good. Let's do one of these little guys. Okay. So I'm actually okay if that shows through my lining. So I'm going to go ahead, take the paper off my lining and fold it back. Okay, get them as much as you can. Don't spend hours on it. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to fold that wrong sides together. There's a little piece of paper there. So one of the things is, and Chris is big on this, and I really agree with her in this circumstance, you don't want any of the lining showing, I'm going to take it up, on the front of this piece. And I had just a slight little bit. Okay, good. Yeah. So now I need to trim off a bunch of the lining, which is okay. Yeah. All right, so now let's I'm going to put it here on this piece just to see where this falls. Yeah. So I think if I put my tag down here in the right corner, I should be okay, like right there. Okay, let's tack that on. Always decrease my stitch length to about 2.5. And is that even? I think it is. And I am going to pull that thread and tie it off in the back. Primarily because I'm using a very highly contrasting thread. And stop where we started. Pull that to the back and tie those off. Okay, perfect. Next step. All right, so take your gusset, find the center of this front piece where I put my little tag, and we're gonna put right sides together and clip that around. And then we're going to come all the way up to the top. And, oh, I got to top stitch this. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't do that. Let me top stitch this. I knew there was a step I was missing. I got all excited. All right, there we go. Now we can clip it all the way around. And I think we do need to clip the corners. We'll see. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to, just a little. You don't want to clip it much because we only have a small seam allowance. So whatever your seam allowance is, you only clip by half. And we always clip the straight edge, which is our gusset. Okay. And once you do that, it'll fit pretty good. Okay. We're almost done with this bag. Okay. Let's sew that on at the seam lines in the pattern. Somebody's not happy out there. Alright. Oops. Okay. So if there are uneven edges, just like anything, you just want to trim those so that they're even. Mine are really pretty even. Oh my goodness, that's Rosie. She's become our little barker. Okay. Can you hear? She's. Let's just look and make sure we didn't get any puckers, and we didn't. Beautiful thing. All right, we're gonna put some black binding on. And I'm using fold over elastic. I think Chris mostly uses cotton binding, but I am a fold over elastic girl. Okay, so I'm just folding mine under by about a half an inch, so there's no raw edge on the top. But that my top is covered. Okay, Perfect. Okay, let's put the binding on. Oh, I ran out of, oh my gosh, you guys, that's so funny. I ran out of bobbin. Right at the beginning. I'm like, it's not sewing. What's wrong? All right, let's try again. Okay. That was funny. Not really. Put my clips back on. Okay, let's try that again. Just want to make sure that's there. Okay, good. All right. I caught it all the way around. This, as far as binding goes, this is pretty easy binding. So if you're not a fan, don't be afraid of this. It's pretty easy binding. So there, that's what it looks like. Looks really good. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing over here. But this ends up being that looks good. Look at that. That looks really good. Now this, let's find the center, which I already have my center marked right there. Again, keep this piece out of the way. And as far up as you can get it. There's no clipping this because it's going to be raw edge. You do want to make sure that it ends up even on both sides, so do pay attention to that. And it's not quite, so let me come down just a hair here. Yeah. The subtle little movements that you make to move it over will make a difference. I better go do some doggy duty. Okay, that's good. So what I mean is make sure that it's even. It's kind of hard to see here and here. These two sides need to be pretty even. And then we're going to stitch that on with, stitch the front and back using a generous 1/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, let's do it. Generous. And I'm doing almost 1/4. Then we'll trim it. Okay, keep that tab out of your way. You don't want that in this seam. Okay. Very nice. So that's what it looks like. And then the flap will come down and connect right here. Oh dear. Okay. Beautiful. Next step. All right, so I am going to put 2 of my large rivets on each side. So I'm also using just D-rings. Let me see what you can see. D-rings, and you fold this back. So I'm going to measure over and make sure that I'm being consistent. So you have about 2 inches. So I'm going to do one, let me see. I'm going to do one 5/8 in and 5/8 in. Yeah. So I'm using these wide medium rivets. So you need just a tiny bit bigger hole. Not huge, but you don't want to have to shove it in there. Okay. And I'm just going to mark where they go. And then I'll punch those holes. Okay. There's one. Perfect. And number 2. So that's what that looks like. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to have to trim that just a little. Let me trim that now. Okay, perfect. Now, let's repeat that over here. And then I'll go press them. So 5/8 in. And about 5/8. And then we're done. I probably will. I have to decide if I want to put a little edge, just a base coat, just to seal the edges. I think I will, but we'll see. Okay, do those holes. So these wide double cap rivets come in a medium post and a long post. So this leather is not particularly thick, so the medium posts are fine. But if you had 3 or 4 ounce leather, you'd want to have the large post, longer post. Okay. Let me go punch them. All right, guys, this turned out really cute. Very, very cute. So I like a 1.5 inch strap. So I have a adjustable 1.5 inch strap. And then here is the bag. Let me see what you can see. All leather. You open this up and you have a nice area inside. Plenty of room. Then you bring this back up and you have a zipper right here. A full zipper pocket. It's big. It's perfect for a big cell phone. And you also, I didn't show you, have 2 slots for cards, keys, whatever you choose to use. Let me just, I didn't test this, so let me test them. Oh yeah, perfect. And it's very secure in there. Perfect. The Sorella, leather Sorella by Simply Classic. It is so cute. And it even smells really good. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.